Hi, I'm Brian, as you probably know. As some of you I haven't talked to in quite a lot of time, and a lot of things have happened. And maybe some of y'all know this already, so I'll try to flesh in some of the details. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you probably saw a couple of years ago this picture with me and Kara, my wife, on vacation in San Diego, and you'll notice that I'm holding a cane. Well, that's quite a story that's consumed a good bit of the last several years. Um, I had been working with, I worked at WAFF 48 for 20 something years, and I left there in 2018 to work for First Baptist Church as their media director. And um, 2020 really ramped up what we did uh, production wise at the church because we had reinvented what we did as the media department. And so as I got more and more tired and more weak, I just figured it was just exhaustion from running at that pace for a couple of years. So in 2022, I finally had enough, and Kara had finally had enough of me fussing about it, to go to finding out what's wrong, what's going on, and why I'm feeling weaker, and why I'm running out of breath, and um, just find out what's happening. So I'd started with my regular doctor and started getting referrals for tests and everything. Um, and then in November of 2022, we went on this vacation to San Diego with my in-laws. And when we were flying to San Diego, we connected through Denver. And there was something messed up going on, and we missed our connecting flight to San Diego. So we ended up spending 10 hours in Denver. When we got off the plane there, I guess because of the altitude and the thinner air and everything, it felt like a ton of bricks fell on me. I couldn't breathe. I could barely stand up. Did not know what was happening, and it was just an absolute miserable experience, and didn't know what was going on. So got through that, and we had a nice week in San Diego. I mean, I didn't feel great, but I was buoyed through that through being with family, and just it's hard to be mad on a beach. So got through that and got back, and really put the spurs to finding out what's going on. In addition, for some of y'all know that we do a huge multi-day Christmas production at First Baptist called Living Christmas Tree, and that was a madhouse to get through. And so I was feeling more tired than ever. So when it came through and got through with that, um, I had scheduled to do a heart cath because now they're starting to think that maybe I have heart failure because it's got all the signs of it: weakness, shortage of breath, all this other stuff. So check on that, and I have the heart cath procedure, and there's nothing wrong with my heart, which was confusing, a little bit relieving, but confusing because I didn't. Then it's okay. Now I know one thing it's not, but still don't know why all this is happening. As I came through from that, and I had been under general anesthesia, as I came through that and got back home, my oxygen levels were low, and they never really improved as we went on. If you don't know, normal oxygen levels anywhere from like 97, 98 up, and at the best, mine was in the 70s, and it got down as low as 62. So that is uh, not to be dramatic, but I mean that turns it into a when, not an if question. So went to the emergency room December 31 of 2022, and I stayed in ICU at Crestwood Medical Center for a week. And things had gotten so bad, and it turned out what it was my body was not flushing out CO2, and then not getting enough oxygen in. It was I wasn't getting enough oxygen to work effectively, and plus it was making my body very acidic, and so that was doing damage. My kidneys were trying to, and your kidneys try to balance that out, but my kidneys were working overtime and just couldn't keep up. So that was the collapse. So after that, I slowly come back and ended my employment at First Baptist because I just was not going to be effective, and they agreed. And I got, okay, well, let's find out what this is. They're still thinking maybe COPD, which I had smoked previously for 20 something years, so that would not be unsurprising. But it was, while it was acting like that, that's not what it was. Um, so neurology couldn't figure it out. My pulmonologist wasn't sure. And I even saw someone from infectious disease. Maybe I had something exotic or something. No, it's not that. I had a little bit of pneumonia when I went in the hospital, but that when your lungs aren't working right, that's not unexpected. And so then from there, we fortunately here in Huntsville, we have the Hudson Alpha Institute for Biotechnology and Biomedical Research. So I went to the Smith Family Clinic there and had genetic testing after I had a muscle biopsy on my left hip, which made it like one of a couple of things. And the genetic testing was going to be like what was going on. And we were signed up to do a big medical treatment and everything with injections and stuff if it were one of the things that it was from the muscle biopsy. Well, the genetic testing turned out it was what really had been the specter that had been lurking around with me in my mind for years. It was something called myofibrillar myopathy, which is under a very broad umbrella of muscular dystrophy. Previously, my dad and my uncle, his brother, had it. At least that's what they were diagnosed with. And my uncle had mostly, it was his core muscles, so he had trouble standing up straight. And when he passed, it was not from that. It was the fact that he kept getting bladder cancer and just could not fight it anymore. My dad had the myopathy a lot like mine, muscle weakness in the thighs, muscle weakness in the core, but also his diaphragm. So he wasn't able to move air effectively. And now that was 20 something years ago, so I don't know a lot about his treatment. I know he went to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and my uncle went to Emory in Atlanta. But again, this is information 20 something years old. So we don't, I can't speak to how effective treatment was. I know Dad had lots of different treatments. But the genetic testing showed that I have what's called the LBD3 mutation, which is fairly common for those people who do have myofibrillar myopathy, which means that there's a lot of research going on to that mutation and the treatment of it. There is still no cure. So, and I'm fine with that because if it seems to be, for the most part, I'm staying on a bit of a plateau. And while my mobility isn't great, I'm still mobile. And, you know, I'm not going to be as active as I was, but I'm doing okay. I do need oxygen a lot during the day. And those of you with sleep apnea or something like that and have a BiPAP or a CPAP machine, I have one of those. It's like a step up that. It's just like it's just a click down from a ventilator, but it still fits like a BiPAP mask. And I do that when I sleep, and I sleep, to be honest, about 10 hours a night. And I take a nap during the day because I just need to. It helps to flush the CO2 out of my body, but it can only do so much. Right now, I don't know what's next. I'm excited by some of the people I've met. I've spoken to the director of the ALS clinic at Crestwood Medical Center. While I don't have ALS, I don't have Lou Gehrig's disease, they're doing a lot of research where, in the space where I am, where it's the meeting of pulmonology and neurology, because a lot of the things, my systems work, except the system that tells them to work doesn't work. The myofibrillar is like the little things inside the muscle cells that make the muscles move. And the myopathy just means that don't work. So either those muscles, that part doesn't work, or they're just not getting the message to work. And so that's where we are now. And that's where I want to I'm looking to find out more. I'm happy where I am. I'm not upset, and I'm not doing this for any kind of sympathy. I just want you to know, if you're friends with me here, you obviously have some sort of relationship with me, and for some of y'all, I owe an apology because we're really close friends, and I really haven't explained this to you. And some of y'all know more of this path I'm on than others, and not again, it's not personal if you don't know as much as someone else. That's just that's on me. And one of the things is with this, my body starves for oxygen, and so when I'm in a lot of pain, that's my body telling me, yeah, you got too much CO2, you don't have enough oxygen. And the fun part about this is if you ever watch the old show with Scott Bakula, Quantum Leap, where he has the Swiss cheese memory, yeah, I get that too from lack of oxygen sometimes. And that's one of the tells that my beautiful wife, Kara, can read much faster than I can, is like something's not right. And both times, fortunately earlier than last time, she's able to say, okay, it's time. You need to get something done. I'm eternally grateful to Kara, not only for that, but the fact that she spends her life with me, and she's wonderful. She's the Morticia to my Gomez, the Lily to my Harmon. But I mean, just if if I had to come up with a definition of soulmate, she'd be it. I'm grateful to my daughter Morgan and to her mom Karen, my first wife. I'm grateful to all my friends and everything. I'm grateful for the folks over at 97.7 ESPN The Zone, specifically Steve Moulton and Scott Tyson and the owner of West Neighbors for making a lot of this work, and also for letting me in their family to let me work what really feels like a dream job. I'm able to work like 3 or 4 hours a day. That's all I'm really good for. And that dovetails perfectly for what their needs are for someone right now to come in and run the board and be funny sometimes and get some production work done. And it's as close to a dream job as I could ask for. And I've always been looking for an excuse to get back in radio anyway. Some of y'all know that. I'm grateful for all the doctors and nurses along the way, especially the nurses up on the 3rd floor at Crestwood Medical Center in the ICU. God bless you. You're doing the Lord's work. And I'm not ungrateful for where I am. I'm very grateful that I'm here. I'm very grateful that I'm here to spend life and do life with you guys. I'm comfortable with what's going on. I know this isn't curable, but I know that you can have a good life if it's managed well. And that's what I hope to figure out, is what the next step is. I hope there are some really good things. And I am okay with never getting better than this. I'm going to work real hard to make sure it don't get worse. There's some other therapies going on. There's some exciting things in the world of physical therapy to make what muscles you do have work better. And so I'm getting lined up for physical therapy. I'm also getting to the point of finding some other genetic testing, maybe to find out maybe something more specific and see where we go from here, some gene sequencing or something. I don't know. I don't know what's next. I'm meeting with the folks at the ALS Center at Crestwood Medical here in the next few days, in the coming weeks, and find out where we go from there. That they are working with the doctors who are working with this, pulmonology and neurology, the folks who do research on this, the people who fund that research. And so it's a great, it feels like a great resource. If you've watched this far, you've watched like about 14 minutes of this, and I'm grateful for that. And I love y'all. And I'm glad you did. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I hope to do a better job of letting you guys know. I'm going to, I say a prayer every night for the folks around me and that they be well. And I do mean that. I hope you are well, and I'll speak to you soon.